From the Big Apple, it's time for Braves baseball. Many a time, Joe and I have seen the sunrise here in New York. Thankfully, last night wasn't one of them, but a 3 a.m. arrival for Ronald Acuna and the Bravos, who feature Adam Duvall in the lineup for the first time in Braves colors. They will try to continue their dominance of the Mets as we start an 8-game road trip here at Citi Field. Hi again, friends. Chip and Joe. Late night last night. Braves had a long travel evening after the rainout back at SunTrust Park, and so we start this road trip, Joe, really a sprint and a marathon-like sprint, if you will. The final 60 games, it's not going to be easy for this bleary-eyed Braves ball club starting tonight.
It's going to be a brutal race to the finish, and the Braves certainly have their eye on the National League East title, but they're going to have to get their rest to do it. 58 games in 60 days. That means they can't be hanging out with Chip at night. They got 2 doubleheaders coming up in the next 12 days. One of those is on this road trip. 4 days off, 2 of them at home. That will help. But 43 of those games are against 500 or better teams, a lot of it against the National League East. They are really going to be tested to try to be ready every night, and certainly with 58 games over that 60-game stretch against that kind of competition, it's going to be mighty tough.
And don't let them fool you. Work home and church for yours truly here down the stretch for the Braves in 2018. Mike Foltynewicz has the ball for the Braves in Game 1. That's a bit of a switch. Kelsey, when we come back, talks about the state of the staff as the Braves start this trip in Gotham next.
a new face, the newest addition to the roster. That is Kevin Gausman, and he has officially joined the team. And you heard Chip and Joe mention it. Today, the Braves start a stretch of 58 games in 60 days. And we talk all the time about how pitching sets the tone, and they're going to hope to do that. Now, the Braves did add some depth. They added Kevin Gausman to the rotation. He'll make his Braves debut on Saturday. They also bolstered the bullpen with a few arms. And as we know, they have plenty of guys in Gwinnett loaded up and ready to go. And Braves manager Brian Snitker and bullpen coach Marty Reed feel pretty good about where their pitching staff is at.
I like the fact that we have some more depth, and then the depth is a lot better than it was before. Like I say, with getting some of the guys the experience that they have, and because we're going to need them all. I mean, it's going to be, tough. It's a lot of innings to cover, and I feel good about where we are, and in that position to cover them.
But what you'll try to do is get them to take care of their arm a little bit more consciously, I should say. When they get out there and start playing catch, maybe save a few bullets here and there. Instead of maybe doing an extra long toss, you may back off some of that type of stuff, realizing that you got to be available for the game. You really look at our bullpen for the most part this season, the only guy that's pitched a full season in the major leagues was Pete Moylan. So these guys are all trying to figure this out at the major league level, and for me, they've done a really good job. And like I said, once they figure these type of things out, they're only going to keep getting better and better, because the stuff that they have, plays at the major league level for sure.
So you guys, we are in it, and this tough stretch has started, and every game from here on out has become that much more important in such a close divisional race. Well, yeah, Mike Boltynewicz taking the mound. He'll look to set the tone here in Game 1 versus the Mets as Atlanta tries to go for their 10th win over New York this year. We have Chip and Joe coming up with first pitch and starting lineups from Queens next.
Delta Airlines, and by your local Ford dealer.
Welcome to Citi Field here in Flushing, New York, where the Braves and Mets are about to get started. Game 1 of 4 tonight. And as we have mentioned, it's a new-looking Atlanta lineup for Brian Snitker with the acquisition of Adam Duvall. Joe, we wondered where Brian would slide him in this Toyota starting 9. And tonight, at least for one game, we have our answer.
Yeah, right in there behind Nick Markakis. That'll provide some solid protection for Nick and Freddie, actually, with his power. And it does. The only change really is that it just moves Tyler down below Camargo, and Tyler's been swinging the bat well too, so it's just deepened the lineup that much more against lefties.
And it's a lineup that has done very well against lefties even before Adam Duvall got here. And the Braves have seen Jason Vargas a couple of times. One time they whacked him around. The other time he pitched real well against the Braves. We'll see what's in store in his third matchup here tonight.
That's kind of like his season versus last season. He was an 18-game winner last year in Seattle. This year it's a little tougher. His first 2 pitches of an at-bat, he's got an average against him of 426, 287 after that. But when you couple that with the Braves' ability to hit on the first pitch, they love to swing at the first pitch. That could really work to Atlanta's favor tonight.
And hopefully that'll be the case as the Braves start play tonight, a half game behind the Phillies in the division. Philadelphia is in action tonight. Phillies are hosting Miami at Citizens Bank Park. Cincinnati is in Washington. It'll be Tyler Mahle and Max Scherzer. Max Scherzer's won his last 4 games in a row. The Nationals just swept the New York Mets in a 2-game series, including that disastrous 24-5 shellacking suffered by New York in Game 1 of that brief series with Washington. Ronald Acuna is ready to lead off for the Braves. His 11th game batting first for Atlanta. And Ronald's done a good job. 13 for 39 leading off, including his first career leadoff homer on Tuesday night against Miami. So Vargas with that modified windup goes to work, and we are underway with a called strike. Stu Surewater will call balls and strikes in Game 1. An overcast night here in New York, but as you hear, we are still hearing planes land at LaGuardia despite those threatening skies. The airport virtually next door to the ballpark. So if the planes are landing, hopefully the weather won't be bad the rest of the night. And that's pulled down the line fair and headed for the corner, and Acuna's got an extra base hit. Conforto digs it out, has some trouble. Acuna's going to think about 3. Here comes the throw. It is cut off, and Acuna with a sliding triple is roaring and ready, and so are the Braves to start the game tonight.
Led off the game. The last game the Braves played with a home run. Tonight it's with a triple. Couldn't see exactly what happened down in the corner, but Conforto had trouble digging it out, and Ronald was off to the races. About halfway to second base, he realized that the ball had gotten by Conforto.
So the Mets are going to play the infield in. 2 batters into the game.
They have to. They have struggled so mightily they can't afford to give up 1 run in the first inning.
And Vargas has given up 16 first inning runs. He's in the soup already with Albies up, and that's fouled away. Ozzie an even count. Since Ozzie Albies was given a day off in mid-June, he has come back blazing hot. A .357 average since June 17th. A 20 homer, 10 stolen base man with 30 doubles. What a combo at the top of the order for the Braves. In fact, a lethal duo with Freeman, Markakis, and now Duvall hitting 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Pretty solid. Vargas does not throw hard. He's going to mix up a lot of off-speed pitches with a fastball that tops out at 87. Change-up, curveball, and already working up a lather.
And a ground ball makes it 1-0. So the infield in pays dividends for Albies. He picks up his 58th RBI. Acuna scores. It's 1-0 Atlanta in the first.
With the infield back, this is an out. Big looping curveball. Would have been a routine out for Jose Reyes, but drawn in, he could not knock it down.
So the Braves strike first. It's 1-0, and here's Freddie Freeman. Freddie, as you know, destroys left-handed pitching, and like Chipper Jones, who just went into the Hall of Fame, he is clubbing the Mets this year.
That was scored a triple for Acuna, his first ever.
Really?
Didn't know that.
So 26 extra base hits for Ronald. As Freddie had a good cut there and fouled it back. Ball and a strike. Those are the numbers I'm talking about.
Yeah, just crazy. It's a little bit like not quite as good as what he's done against the Marlins, but pretty close.
That's 19 hits and 46 at bats with 11 runs batted in. And the 1-1 pitch from Vargas. Missed inside. Ball 2. There have been many mysteries for the Mets this year. Vargas is one of them. His .836 ERA is the worst among all major league starters who have made 10 or more starts this year. And as you said, he was an all-star last year. That's a strike. Freddie wasn't sure. 2-2.
Yeah, 18 and 11 with a .416 ERA for the Mariners. Mets signed him, and he has been on and off the disabled list. That 8 ERA you're talking about, kind of in keeping with the whole Mets season, with the exception of the first 10 or 11 days of the season, and they were hot.
Yeah, they were 11-1 at one point. They're 44-61, and trying to stay out of last place. Freddie shoots one towards short, but Reyes will backtrack and make the play in shallow center. And Freddie's the first out of the game. 1 out. That'll bring up Nick Markakis, the Braves right fielder. 130 hits for Nick this year. And like Freddie Freeman, he too with 11 RBIs against the Mets. And 18 of those 130 hits have come against New York pitching. That's off the plate. Pretty close pitch, but Nick got the call. 1-0 the count. Citi Field, one of the biggest ballparks in baseball, certainly in the National League. This is a cavernous ballpark that should favor the Mets pitching staff perhaps better than it does. It's 408 feet to straightaway center. And as you see us pan from left to right, they've actually moved the fences in to try to help their hitters in their home yard. Back when David Wright was healthy, that big change in right and right center was very noticeable. Used to have to hit the ball over that black wall and over the blue wall in left field for it to be a home run. Not anymore. There's a strike. 2-1.
Nick's faced him more than anybody in the lineup, more than anybody on the team, from all their work against each other in the American League. 33 at bats against Vargas, 2 homers, 8 for 33.
Delayed steal, and Ozzy's going to slide in head first.
Beautiful.
Number 11.
Perfect timing too. Left-handed batter up there, kind of screened Plawecki. Didn't get any help from Flores playing first base tonight in terms of telling him that he was going. That is just textbook stuff right there by Ozzy. Well done.
And now a hit could get you a second run, and Markakis way ahead in the count. So far, the Braves aren't looking tired at all. They are sprinting around the bases early. The pitch is low, ball 4, and Adam Duvall's going to hit with 2 on in his Braves debut tonight. Just how Brian Snitker hoped it would come about. You look at Duvall's numbers this year, Joe, they are certainly down for him, but not too long ago, this guy was an all-star.
They're very pedestrian, especially where the average is concerned, but 15 and 61, that's not too shabby. It's just that when you compare it to the last 3 years, there was a remarkable stat I saw that he's hit more home runs, I think, in the last 3 years than Bryce Harper.
Wow. Well, one of those here would Be a bad way to break in, would it? And a strike. Duvall hitting .279 against lefties. And there are those rankings Joe was talked about. Vargas already 18 pitches thrown. He's down a run on 2 Atlanta hits. And popped up into left field. A little stumble for a moment by Conforto, but he'll recover to make the play. And that's the second out.
I applaud again Alex Anthopoulos and his staff for, putting a pin on Adam Duvall, because while his numbers are off this year, you saw those stats over the last since 2016. So maybe the price had come off just a little bit from what it would have normally been if he had had the same numbers. You identify those guys that have had good numbers, maybe they're a little off this year. Price isn't so high. The Braves certainly did not have to rake their farm system to try and get him, and yet he's a solid player.
2 on, 2 out for Camargo, the Braves third baseman. Team leader in RBIs since June the 1st. You've played for different teams before. Are you a man who subscribes to sometimes a change of scenery makes all the difference in the world?
Yeah, and I think that'll be the case for Lucas Sims and Matt Whistler as well, going to a different organization. They both got good arms, they're healthy, and we wish them well.
Took a little off, and Camargo didn't get it. A ball and a strike.
A fresh start indeed for everybody, and where the Braves fans are concerned, for Adam Duvall, hoping to get off to a good start.
No swing. And the count 2-1. 22 pitches for Vargas on a sticky night.
Yeah, it's about mid-80s with about 70% humidity. That's why he had worked up a pretty good lather in the first batter or two.
So the deuces are wild for the Braves third baseman. Here it is, and pulled foul.
One of the first guys out today was Ronnie Washington, the third base coach, ready and waiting on some of the infielders to come out and go through some of their early drills. He said, got to get the blood flowing after that late night arrival, and not playing yesterday. You got to shake it up a little bit. First guy out was Ozzie Albies.
And a swing and a miss will retire the side. Atlanta gets a triple and a single from Acuna and Albies, and Mike Foltynewicz enjoys a 1-0 lead. here in the first inning.
He's going with a little different look tonight, trying to change his luck some after his last 4 starts have produced some not Mike Fultonevich type numbers. 6.94 ERA, as many home runs as he allowed in his first 16 starts. So he will try to get it turned around, and these 4 keys might be part of it to his pitching success tonight. Number 1, first 3 innings pitched. He's already got a 1-0 lead. Give his offense a chance to put some more runs on the board against Vargas. That will help him a lot, and challenge the hitters. No Cespedes, no Jay Bruce, no Cabrera. Get after these guys and don't be afraid to fire that fastball at them.
Especially Brandon Nimmo, the Mets leadoff man, who has struck out 107 times and is in a big strikeout binge of late. His last 30 games, Joe, 43 strikeouts in 101 at bats, and he's leading off.
I thought he's better than that. Didn't you?
Yeah.
Contact wise?
You bet. Batting .248 overall. He makes contact here and drives that deep to right, and it's off the top of the fence and gone. He's smiling as he makes his way around the base paths. A leadoff homer for Nimmo ties the game.
All right, well, that wasn't the way he wanted to start the game. This ball jumped off Nimmo's bat, turned on it. But here's another item that might be a key for Mike tonight. There are times this year where, following a home run, he's walked the next guy, and that led to a big inning. Don't do that tonight.
Former Brave Jose Bautista takes a perfect pitcher's pitch for a strike. Third career leadoff homer for Nimmo ties the game at 1. And Bautista unloads toward left center. Acuna back to the track. Odd route, but he made the play. 1 down.
Nice adjustment. Honestly, moving from left field to center, you got a whole lot of ground to cover in this ballpark. Checked to see where the fence was and had to turn back the other way. Nice recovery.
So 1 out for Michael Conforto. He's one of the hotter Mets hitters. A 5-game hitting streak. And the first to him skips up there, ball 1.
His average may not look like much now, but it was right around 190 to 200 most of the year.
I know he's a Met, and I hope he has a very poor series at the plate this go around against the Braves, but for the game, I'm glad he's back after that horrific shoulder injury. Dislocated his shoulder, tore the capsule swinging the bat last year. There were some who wondered how long it would take him to come back. Well, he has come back this year, and he's a good player. 14 homers, 39 knocked in, and rolling since the break. Ground ball up the middle. Ozzie backhand. Long throw and a stretch. Pretty play. 2 outs.
Have you noticed how good these 3 infielders are? And I'll include Freddie, but I'm particularly talking about second, third, and short. How good they are going to their backhand. They're all so good at that. And again, with the tip of the cap to Ron Washington, things they working on that backhand.
Wilmer Flores, the cleanup man on the Mets Toyota starting lineup. Todd Frazier just back from injury, waits on deck. Mike would like to see him lead off the second. Wilmer Flores hit his 10th homer yesterday against the Nationals. He's knocked in 35.
And he is a very good fastball hitter.
Opponents have had very little success hitting Mike's non-fastball pitches. Let's see if that trend continues in game 1 tonight. Braves 1, Mets 1, inning 1 in New York.
Best in the major leagues on his secondary pitches. That is an amazing number, 119.
So a glove waggle for Fulte, and he turns it loose, and Flowers smothered that. 2-2. Braves are 9-3 against the Mets.
Three 3-0 here.
Clobbered him here the first series. This one's grounded towards short, and that fooled Dansby. That got under his glove, and the inning will continue. Flores aboard with 2 outs.
Something else these guys are really good at, and that's keeping their glove down and gliding to the ball. This time Dansby didn't get his glove all the way down, kind of played a hop that he didn't get.
So an error on Swanson brings Todd Frazier back. He's returning from the DL from a rib cage strain. 10 homers, 32 knocked in for the Todd father, Todd Frazier, and a .217 average. I would think, Joe, just back off the DL to your Ford Key. Challenge this guy and see how that abdomen and rib cage really feels.
Right.
In the air to right, and Markakis will backpedal and put that one away. A leadoff homer for Nimmo ties the game. We head to the second. 1-1 your score. Softball home run derby and photos on the field. Go to Braves.com for all of the information. Jeff Francoeur told us he's participating in the softball home run derby, and the teams are set. It'll be Francoeur, Dan Ugla, and Tim Hudson against Brian Jordan, Johnny Estrada, and Steve Avery.
It's a pretty even matchup. Both pitchers, too, good hitters.
So you want to make your plans to join us at SunTrust Park when we get back from this road trip, which heads to Washington after we play 4 games in New York. And that's downstairs to Tyler Flowers, and the second inning is underway, tied up 1 apiece. Tyler wears out left-handed pitching. See if that comes to fruition tonight in game 1.
He's been drawing a ton of walks, too.
8 of them in his last 7 games.
That's his best fastball, folks. That's 86. He might bump it up 1 more notch. But as Camargo found out last inning, you're going to see a lot of breaking stuff like Tyler just saw, no matter what the count.
Vargas about to make his 30th pitch.
Out of Apple Valley, California, went to Long Beach State. Played with Jared Weaver there. Pretty good pitching staff.
That's lifted toward the seats right side. Wilmer Flores will give chase and run out of room. And another 3-2 pitch is coming. Reds and Nationals, no score in the second. Miami and the Phillies, same score, same inning. Keep you posted on those ball games. Washington 4.5 games behind the Braves in third place. Atlanta a half game behind the Phillies. And strike 3 froze Flowers down and in. And there's strikeout number 2 for the Mets left-hander.
Good pitch.
Dansby at 248, 8 homers, 39 knocked in. And a swing and a miss.
I mentioned the players that are missing from what you would normally see in the Mets lineup. The one that's most puzzling, I guess, would be Yoenis Cespedes, on the disabled list for a variety of injuries, but then came back and told the world that he needed foot surgery on his heels, on both heels, and he made the announcement. It didn't go through the Mets, and everybody in New York was going, say what?
Yeah, and it's he needed feet surgery. You're right, both of them. He's got calcification in his heels, and he was supposed to have the first surgery on one of those heels today. As Dansby didn't get it, Vargas has struck out 3 in a row. So Cespedes having heel surgery today on the right foot. He will then undergo a second heel surgery procedure on his other foot in 2 or 3 months. And as you see those key injuries right now, unofficially, the Mets have about $70 million in payroll on their disabled list in 2018.
You don't plan for that.
And that's $70 million of an approximately $150 million payroll. So Mike Foltynewicz with 2 outs. I would imagine, Joe, in the offseason, an area of improvement for Mike would be his work at the plate. He's 2 for 35 with 26 strikeouts.
But he has one of the most graceful follow-throughs on the team. We get to see it a lot.
Yes, that's true. He's got that going for him. Good bat waggle. And he turned on that baby, didn't get it. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Not sure how he fouled that one off, but that was a good one. He stepped so far away from the plate with his stride out. I wish he had opened his stance up wide open, so that he had to step into the ball.
And Vargas just struck out the side. He struck out the last 4 Atlanta hitters. Tie game. We go to the home second.
and their newest starting pitcher. Kevin Gausman has officially been added to the 25-man roster, and he didn't have to travel very far because he was traded here from the Orioles, and they just finished up a series with the Yankees. And, you know, he has a lot of familiar faces in this Braves clubhouse with former Orioles, including Nick Markakis, Ryan Flaherty, Brad Brock. And he actually joked earlier saying they'd been calling this Baltimore South. And he told us that his locker was right next to Nick Markakis his last 2 seasons over there in Baltimore. So, guys, I think it's easy to say that Kevin Gausman will be feeling right at home very quickly. And he is scheduled to make his Braves debut Saturday. Atlanta is so excited to run him out there and see what this guy can do out of the AL East.
Well, Kelsey, he will be ready to go as long as he didn't fill up on pastrami during this week here in New York. That'll slow you down, make you a little sleepy on a warm night. But yes, we're excited to see him pitch against Zach Wheeler on Saturday. Anibal Sanchez and Jacob deGrom tomorrow night, and Julio Teheran, and for the moment, Steven Matz is scheduled on Sunday. But that is not for sure. As Foltynewicz faces Jeff McNeil, our first look at the former 12th round pick by the Mets out of Long Beach State.
No kid, he's 26 years old and had a whale of a year to this point in AA and AAA. 342 combined batting average with 19 homers combined. It never had more than 3 in any one season.
And I would think, Joe, where the Mets are this year and maybe even going into next season, might as well find out if these guys can make adjustments and have success up here.
He's already hit a home run for the Mets. 4 for 17 here to start his career.
And down a ball and 2 strikes. And that one right back to Mike, who caught it and flipped to first for the out.
I don't know if that ricocheted off his leg and into his glove or not, but it went right to the leather. Right to the leather. Hopefully it missed everything. Yep.
Michael throw away that obviously defective baseball. It was aiming to hurt him, but he made the play for the first out. And here's Plawecki, the catcher, hitting .239, a couple of homers.
Early in the season, we've been talking about guys getting hurt. Mets lost both of their catchers within a few days of each other. Travis d'Arnaud hurting his arm, having to have surgery, out for the year. Plawecki got hurt. He missed about 6 weeks.
And to shore up that position, they traded Matt Harvey to the Reds for Devin Mesoraco. But tonight it's Plawecki who gets the start, with Jose Reyes waiting on deck. And they just missed. Ball 2. Yankees are in action tonight. Big showdown series with the Red Sox. The first of 10 remaining games between the Bronx Bombers and the Bo Sox tonight. And Boston is down 4-0 to CC Sabathia. The Yankees are 5.5 games back in the AL East race. The Braves have a chance to impact that. We've got a series with the Red Sox at SunTrust Park in September.
That'll be fun.
Now the 2-2 pitch. He went around, and Plawecki is down on strikes. There's that hard slider that Major League Baseball has very little luck hitting from Foltynewicz. That's his first strikeout of the night.
Good pitch. Dropped it right on the back point of the plate. Good spot.
And here's Jose Reyes in that 25-4 game against Washington. Jose Reyes came on and pitched in relief. He actually got more outs than the starter Steven Matz. And an incredible statistical oddity. Reyes gave up a couple of home runs to the Nationals in that relief appearance, and then yesterday hit 2 homers of his own. swing and a miss.
Good hook.
The last time that happened, a man gives up 2 or more homers on one day and the next day hit 2 or more himself was 1884 when Cap Anson did it for the Chicago White Stockings, who were the ancestors of the Chicago Cubs.
That's weird, isn't it? That the White Stockings in Chicago became the Cubs.
1 ball, 2 strikes to the 8th place hitter Reyes. Ground ball. Freeman dives, makes a nice play near the line and wins the race to the bag. That was gorgeous. And Foltynewicz has his first 1-2-3 inning. Top of the order coming up. 1-1 game after 2. Again tonight, Joe, a leadoff triple, his first in the big leagues. He scored the first Atlanta run, and he's coming up again here in the 3rd in a tie game.
Love watching him lead off. That's what he's on there in that spot for, is to get on base. In his last 10 games coming into play tonight, not counting his triple. Great average, terrific OPS, and some long balls. Leading off, as I said, with a home run a couple of days ago. Nice to have some power at the top of the order, too.
What a young, exciting, dynamic 1-2 punch that the straight A's, Acuna and Albies, have been for the Braves, hitting first and second. Certainly not intimidated by hitting up there.
No, and doesn't mind at all when Albies is messing with it, throws his bat on the ground. It's like, okay, I know, I'll pick it up.
There was an amazing stat about Acuna and Albies that we found earlier tonight. They are the 4th duo, 21 years of age or younger, both with an OPS of 800 or better. It's on base plus slugging. And when I give you these names, you can't help but get excited about the present and the future for the Atlanta Braves. Willie McCovey and Orlando Cepeda did it for the 1959 Giants. Joe Kelly and John McGraw for the 1893 Baltimore club. And the one that really opened my eyes, Bobby Doerr and Ted Williams in 1939 for the Red Sox. That's what Albies and Acuna are doing for Atlanta this year. And they're just getting started. 2 balls and a strike. Hammered into left. He's 2 for 2.
Vargas had made some good pitches in the 2nd inning, 3 straight strikeouts, and had 4 altogether going back to Camargo in the 1st, but he hangs a curveball right there, just spins right into his the changeup. Wasn't a curveball, changeup that just stayed up there about bell tie and got whacked.
Acuna has the triple and single out of the way. Albies the batter. He's got the Braves RBI, and that's taken low. Ozzie pushing up toward a 300 batting average, hitting right-handed. He's at 282 officially after his first inning single.
Plawecki with some decent numbers throwing out base stealers. A little over 21%.
And Acuna was going. Wilmer Flores' throw is terrible. And Ronald is in safely at second base. They had him picked off, but Flores' throw sailed, and Reyes did a heck of a job to keep it from going into left field.
I was afraid after he took off that when he looked back here that it would slow him down, but he got a little help from the Mets first baseman when he looked over his left shoulder. And always taught to just keep going. You get picked off, keep going. You never know what might happen, and that happened there.
Fly ball center. Nimmo going back. Look at that ball carried to the edge of the track. There's the grab. Acuna tags, and he's going to move up 90 feet. Ball dropped, but no further advance. So Albies with a productive out, and now Freeman the batter with the go-ahead run 90 feet away. Tough to tell what the ball is doing on the field. You look high atop the ballpark, and the flag's blowing straight out.
Yeah, the ball Bautista hit in the first inning kind of fooled me. I thought he hit it pretty well, but not 400 feet.
So again, New York plays the infield in. That cost him a first inning run. Let's see what Freddie does here. 11 RBIs against the Mets. And yanked foul past first. Almost got Eric Young. I was hearing it from somebody on the Mets bench. Strike one to the Braves first baseman.
Yeah, and congratulations to his son, Eric Young Jr., who got called up recently by the Angels back in the big leagues.
One ball, one strike. And a line drive breaks the tie. Freddie Freeman has his 69th run batted in. Acuna scores his second run of the game, and Atlanta's in front again 2-1.
Freddie had to be looking for that chip. He was on it. It was in a good spot. I think it was about 70 miles an hour curveball. And look at Plawecki. Plawecki's leaning over there to block it in the dirt, and Freddie laces it to center for a base hit. Had to be looking for it.
So 12 RBIs for Freeman against the Mets on 20 hits against them. And he's aboard for Nick Markakis, who walked in the opening inning. So how about Ronald Acuna, Joe?
Yeah.
Leading off for the 12th game, he's now scored 11 runs out of that #1 spot.
Yeah, all the rest of it is really gravy. The home runs, stolen bases, you know, certainly a part of a leadoff hitter's repertoire, but scoring runs, that's the object.
Markakis got jammed, shoots that one toward Bautista, who glides to his right, 2 outs. And you heard Ronald earlier this year when our great interpreter Franco Garcia translated for us. He's batted leadoff a lot in the minor leagues,
Yes.
so for him it really is the same game, just different opponents.
Different role, but he's done it before.
So here's Duvall. He flied out to left his first time up. Is he wearing Matt Diaz's number?
Yep.
So you know he's a hitting fool.
That's right.
And Matty could hit left-handed pitching. 2 balls, no strikes. Freddie's running. The pitch is high. The throw to second is equally high, and Freeman holds the bag. Freddie's got his 7th stolen base. The Braves have 3 stolen bases against Vargas already in the game tonight.
Went on his first move, got a big jump. Picked a good pitch. You know he's going to pretty much throw something off speed. You got a good chance.
And a 4-pitch walk puts Duvall at first, and Johan Camargo the batter. He struck out to end the opening inning. Braves are forcing Vargas to pile up the pitches. You wonder how fresh the Mets bullpen is after the debacle they faced down in Washington.
And that's the truth.
Johan is our Greatness Made Here feature. That's presented by Synovus.
And he's got great numbers against the Mets. 3 homers, 8 runs scored, 11 games. Chance to do more damage here. Vargas has not pitched more than 5 innings in any of his first 10 starts. Longest streak to open a season in big league history by a starter.
That's golfed into right center field. That's going to get down and score at least 1. Here comes Duvall chugging to third. Ron Washington's going to wave him. Relay throw is late. It's a double for Camargo, and the Braves have broken the game open. It's 4-1.
You were talking about this ballpark and its dimensions, Chip. When you hit a gap here, it's a long way to go for everybody. And this was stung in the right center. You know, Johan struck out his first time up. If there's one thing about him that's been as impressive as anything this year is his adjustments from at bat to at bat. He looked bad on the strikeout in the first inning. He was looking middle away all the way right there.
So Atlanta with 3 in the 3rd. Tyler Flowers pops the first one up, and Plawecki behind the plate has to backpedal and dropped it. It's a foul ball. Frazier was there too. Plawecki was unsteady, and the Mets fans let him hear it.
That was so close to being a fair ball and an error. He didn't see it right away. He was being told by Vargas it was up. And Stu Sherwater wasn't in the best of spots to make the call. But he did hustle over there to see that it was, I guess, a foul ball.
That's what he called it, and it's also an error on the catcher. So the errors are even. The game is not. 4-1 Atlanta. Swing on the house for Tyler. My question is, where was Frazier on that play? He had to have seen Plawecki stumbling, but he was a good 6-7 feet away from that pop-up.
Even Vargas could have come in and had a better crack at it.
So the pitch is piling up for the Mets left-hander, Jason Vargas. That might explain how he's had trouble getting through 5 innings. And the 1-2 is bounced toward third. Frazier backpedals. Long throw and got the catcher by a step. Terrific inning for Atlanta. Once again, it starts with a spark plug. Ronald Acuna, who singled. Freddie Freeman brought him home with an RBI, his 12th against the Mets. And after a walk to Duvall, Johan Camargo splits a gap in right center. And Mike Foltynewicz and the Braves enjoy a 4-1 lead. having a down year. The Braves, Joe, have taken advantage of that. That is our Zaxby's indescribably good play.
Plus 30 run differential in just 12 games. That's not bad. Good ERA. Opponent's batting average is nothing. The Mets, in fact, at home this year, hitting .211 as a team, and the Braves have won all 3 games they've played here so far.
Outscoring them 21-2 in those 3 games. So for Mike, needs a shutdown inning. One way to provide that is get the leadoff man, which is the Mets pitcher Jason Vargas, who's 1 for 12 at the dish with 4 strikeouts. Oh, 2. Just past 8 o'clock here in New York. As Mike turns it loose and just missed. Mike has faced the Mets before this season. 5 innings of 2-hit shutout ball, but he got a no decision in that game.
That was when he came out with the tricep difficulty.
And after getting ahead 0-2, he's now gone 3-2 to the pitcher.
Thought he had him struck out right there. Didn't get the call.
And that's put in play to Camargo. And throw to first in plenty of time for the first out. August is Chipper month. Join us Friday, August 10th. First 20,000 fans get a Chipper Jones Hall of Fame replica plaque brought to you by SunTrust. And if you're one of the first 20,000 through the gates on Saturday the 18th, you'll get a Chipper Crazy Train bobblehead presented by Napa.
There he is in a Braves uniform. I saw him in a Braves uniform last night. Chipper Jones.
That's exactly right. Chipper had some fun in Louisville, Kentucky, we understand.
Right after going in the Hall of Fame, he's back in the batter's box.
Little pop by Brandon Nimmo, who homered in the first inning. And Dansby's going to back up and make the play quickly. 2 outs. Well, maybe there's another Hall of Fame Joe he's looking to join.
Could be. Could be. It's that team that Adam LaRoche and his brother have put together for the last couple of years. This year they're playing in Louisville, not Wichita. But they wised up. I'm proud of those guys because now they have a roster of like 50 guys. Because when one group plays, they're so sore the next day they can't get out of bed. They need another lineup.
We've got some great video of that we'll show you a little later on tonight as Batista bats and takes a strike. Yeah, Matt Diaz was in the game. Kelly Johnson, Tim Hudson, Chris Medlin pitched. Chipper, of course. Adam LaRoche. Jason Worth was playing in that game. Still hasn't shaved.
They were playing the Hattiesburg Black Sox. Those guys were just all grins, it seemed like to me.
And why not? 0-2 pitch. You had the great line. One of those big leaguers gets a hit. The first baseman was just grinning ear to ear, wasn't he?
Yeah, he should have had a pen in his back pocket here. Sign my uni, will you please?
Ouch. Bautista will try to jog that one off. Jose's done reasonably good work with the Mets. Overall, between Atlanta and New York, .210 average, 8 homers, 29 RBIs. He's getting on base a lot. He's walked a lot. Low batting average. But is trying to score his 1,000th career run. He's got 999 runs scored in his well-traveled big league career. He didn't offer at the slider. It's now 2-2. Strike 3 inside corner. Bautista argues, but that was a perfect pitcher's pitch.
Rick Ankiel, we forgot about him.
Yeah.
Former Brave. Base hit. Here comes Chipper.
Look at this slide. You know what he's happiest about? He's got his hamstring still.
Well, that, and when he agreed to go, here's Medlin. Big hook. Sit down. Tim Hudson, split finger. Sit down. Chipper didn't sign up for sliding.
And you know what? The old saying, TV adds 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just TV. I think it's retirement.
Yeah, 10 might be a little light.
But they all looked like they were having it. Can you imagine what it must be like going to the tavern after the game and having a beer after those guys are playing? How much fun that must be. As this one's ripped to right by Dansby. Bautista back. And in that well in right field has room for the first out.
Well, you could see when they were shaking hands after the game, you can see this long line of guys. Look at all of them. But at the far left coming up right at the end of the line, right there, red jersey, Johnny Bench is managing this crew.
How cool is that?
I don't think they'll have any trouble keeping him off the field. I think he'll be just fine over there managing.
Well, he was really stressing out during the game about, you know, the double switch and who's going to pitch and whether to put hit and runs on. Johnny was sitting in his perch in the dugout enjoying a big helmet bowl full of nachos.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that is so cool. As Mike, don't hurt yourself, Mike. 2 balls and a strike.
We'll know things are going well for the Braves when we look over there and Snitker's got a big bowl of nachos.
I'm told that there were so many guys on the bench that Johnny Bench in the game last night pinch hit Roy Oswalt and pinch hit Brad Penny.
That's correct.
The 2-2 pitch is cut on and missed. And 2 up and 2 down in the 4th inning. It's a 4-1 Atlanta lead. Vargas has 5 strikeouts. Fultonevich has 2, but Mike leads where it counts.
You know what? When Mike doesn't register a lot of strikeouts, it's because he's getting some contact and his pitch count stays down.
Well, here's the man of the hour, Ronald Acuna. He's tripled, he's singled, he's stolen a base and scored 2 of the Braves' 4 runs. And taken low. Miami and the Phillies are in a rain delay at the bank vault. Washington all over the Reds. That's 6-0 in the 3rd. Keep your eye on the Nationals, folks. I know they've had a down year, but that team is too talented to not go without a final 2-month fight.
I think we all agree they've got another run left in them.
And we will see them firsthand beginning Tuesday, a doubleheader up at Nationals Park. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tonight it's Max Scherzer's turn to pitch. And Scherzer and a 6-run lead. Pretty sure the Nationals like their chances tonight. And by the way, Bryce Harper, since the All-Star break, 12 hits, 6 extra base hits, 11 RBIs.
Well, Scherzer's pitching tonight. Good chance he'll pitch one of those games of the doubleheader next Tuesday.
3 balls and a strike for Acuna. Turned it loose, didn't get it. Full count. And Acuna's aboard for the 3rd time in as many trips to the plate. And it was a 2-out walk in the 3rd that led to Camargo's 2-run scoring double. Let's see if Atlanta can create some more 2-out magic. The Braves have been excellent at 2-out runs, 204 of them so far this year, including 2 tonight. 3rd walk for Vargas. And Acuna has another gigantic lead at first. Vargas picked him off, but a bad throw earned Acuna stolen base number 6. Couple of fans are trying to get the "Let's Go Mets" cheer started. Hammered down the left field line. That's headed for the corner. Here comes Acuna around second on his way to third. Ron Washington's going to hold him up. And the throw back to third is late. It's a double for Albies. So the Braves keep on keeping on with 2 outs. Second and third. Freeman's coming up.
31st double of the year. Another pitch that was up from Vargas. Another changeup about belt high. And I know Ron Washington wanted to send Acuna, but Conforto got over there and cut this one off.
Oh, I love that angle right down the line. That baseball looks like it's coming right in your living room. It's pulled by a right-hand batter. Great angle, great view, and a great chance for Freddie to add to the lead. And that pushed him off the plate, even count.
Chance for him to go over the 70 mark in RBIs.
His single gives him a 4-game hit streak, 6 hits in that stretch. And he didn't get that one. A ball and 2 strikes. And a swing and a miss. So Vargas pitches out a 2-out trouble. He has struck out 6 men, but he trails by 3. Market regular season game, plus get a free subscription to MLB at Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv to take advantage of this special offer, which with 58 games left, that's about $1 a game.
What's the number again? What's the price?
$59.99. That's a pretty good deal.
Well, it's a real good deal. Unless you're buying a Chip Caray autographed baseball.
Yeah. They were really, really overly optimistic in Cooperstown.
Oh, I thought they might have been underpriced.
Had I known, I'd have taken the day off and done the Pete Rose deal, brought a case of baseballs and a Bic pen and gone to town.
You're going to say a case of beer, case of baseballs, and had a good day.
1 ball, 2 strikes for Conforto. Ground it out to Ozzie, who made a nice play to his right with a backhand to get his man at first. 44 pitches for Foltynewicz, very economical. And that one under the blue and orange letters for the Mets outfielder. 2-2.
One up and in, one down and in.
That would make this an uncomfortable at bat.
Very good. Very good. I wouldn't pay $59.95 for that, but that was pretty good.
3-2 pitch. Struck him out at 97 on the black.
What are you supposed to do? You know, he's thrown one up under your chin, another one at your feet, and now zip. All that would have done was break his bat and couldn't pull the trigger.
Mike's retired 8 straight. The last man to reach was Wilmer Flores, whose walk-up music is the theme song from the great TV show Friends. They play that because Wilmer Flores learned to speak English by watching every episode of the show. There's a strike.
We never fully appreciate the transformation of coming from your native country to play baseball.
And a base hit. As you said, Joe, he can hit a fastball. That one clocked at 96, and he clocked it equally hard to left.
It's not just about playing baseball. That's part of your day, but the rest of your day you've got to live in a country where it's not your native language. What a nice turn on that pitch he did that he made up and in. I always go back to Eddie Perez and his first year being in the grocery store and trying to buy food, but looking at cans of cat food and not knowing what it was until he saw cats on the label.
Amazing. Simply amazing. So here's Frazier. He flied out his first time. Again, his first game back since July 9th. A ribcage issue, and that's off the plate. The back underway in Philadelphia. Marlins nothing, Phillies nothing. Philadelphia batting in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Braves lead here, hoping the Marlins can help us out tonight. And a 1/2 game back in the race. The pitch. It's an even count.
Good breaking ball.
But I think you'd agree, Joe, what makes that pitch so good is Mike's fastball command by and large has been very, very good this evening.
It has been, but there's just enough off of that. I mean, that was an 87 slider. I mean, that's hard, but just enough off his 97 fastball to really get you out on your front foot. That was a quick turn.
At 96 and into the second deck. Two and two. John Frazier, 32 years young, out of Toms River, New Jersey. Two-time All-Star. And he is going to have a seat. Foltynewicz struck out his 4th man. 2 outs.
That was a changeup. So if you thought the 87-mile-an-hour slider was difficult to adjust to, how about that changeup at about 82? It was up, but had Frazier way out front.
A guy with the kind of talent Mike has, you give him 3+ pitches, he's going to be awfully tough to beat. Fastball, slider, now the changeup all cooking for him with McNeil up there. He hit the comebacker that Mike speared for the first out of the second inning. McNeil getting a chance to play because Asdrubal Cabrera was traded to the Phillies.
They had another guy. Remember was it TJ Rivera? He had to have arm surgery at the beginning of the year. Tommy John, I believe. So he's out for the year and not getting to take advantage of this opportunity.
And he's one of a couple guys that were at the top 3 in hitting last year in the Pacific Coast League. They had some really big batting averages. And Rivera not able to play now. And this one's hit high in the air to left. And right at Duvall, his first chance in left, and he puts the squeeze on that. Mike Foltynewicz, 59 pitches through 4 innings with a 3-run lead. Season for the Atlanta Braves, 130 hits, 42 multi-hit games, and he will lead off the Atlanta fifth. Braves enjoy, Joe, a 4-1 lead.
Really good numbers against the Mets for him too. 7 extra base hits, 6 of those doubles, 11 RBIs. Already been on base tonight with a walk, 0 for 1.
So Vargas with 80 pitches as the 5th inning is brought to you by Audi Q5. His season high is 86. Let's hope he flies by that here in the Atlanta 5th. And a sweeper caught a corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's an interesting quirk for you. Markakis 67 RBIs, 37 of them on the road. That's good for 3rd in the National League. So more runs batted in away from Atlanta than in Atlanta, which stands to reason the Braves haven't played as many home games as road.
And a couple of home runs during the homestand too.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Wind swirling inside Citi Field. And taken low. It's ball 3. Win tonight gives the Braves 10 victories over the Mets this year. They've gotten to double digits in the season series over New York in 11 of the last 17 seasons. Turned on that baby, and it's out of play. Nice play by the ball boy. So that's a reason why Atlanta's had, by and large, very good luck within the division. They're good play against it, and especially this year against the Mets. Team record for most wins against New York in a single year is 14. It was back in the 60s. The pitch is bounced to the right side. Flores has it. And Vargas was led nicely for the first out. One away. Here's Duvall. Adams walked and scored. He's also flied out to left.
Vargas will take his time after that sprint over to first. Again, it's not that hot, just extremely close tonight. There has been a little breeze, but as Chip pointed out, it seems like that's kind of up at the top of the stadium. Not that much on the field.
See the perspiration streaming off the bill of Vargas's Mets cap. Sean Newcomb knows all about that here in the Big Apple. The pitch is lifted towards center. Nimmo is back, and he's got it. 2 outs. Johan Camargo, the batter, a 2-run double his last time up. He's 1 for 2. Important stretch of games for the Braves on the road. 8-game road trip. Early in the season, Joe, the Braves really enjoyed playing away from SunTrust Park. They got a little cold the last 26-27 games for Brian Snitker. And the big factor there was more pitching related than offense related. Delivery is in for a strike. Check out the contrast. First 27 on the road, last 26.
Yeah, 11 and 15 over the last 26, and that ERA you're talking about over 5, full 2 runs higher than earlier this season. And if your ERA is over 5, that's tough to overcome every night. Braves offense has been very consistent all year long, with the exception of just a few games in a stretch just after the All-Star break, maybe leading into the All-Star break.
Yeah, that Yankee-Milwaukee portion of the long road trip took some starch out of him. As Camargo didn't get it, swing and a miss. Season-high pitches for Vargas. He just struck out his 7th man, but he trails in the home 5th.
is that he has type 1 diabetes. Now, he told me he had strep throat back in spring training in 2012, but after he got over that, he continued to lose weight. He said he lost 20 pounds in 1 month, and he knew something else was wrong, and that's when he was diagnosed. So along to tracking what he eats so he knows how much insulin he needs, he wears a glucose monitor. Tonight, it's on the back of his right arm, and that controls his insulin pack that's in his back pocket right now. He told me that he cuts a hole in his pocket so it could run up through his jersey during games. And, you know, he stays really active in that community. He takes it very seriously that he has this really big platform and he can inspire other people who have diabetes. And Chip and Joe, he is speaking to a group on Wednesday when we get to DC. So just another really good guy added to this clubhouse.
That's awesome, Kelsey. And what an amazing story for Adam Duvall, and what an amazing thing about how medical technology is helping folks with diabetes and other afflictions lead, shall we say, normal lives, as it were, and
It's a great inspiration.
able to perform at this level. 1-1 pitch is broken bat. Plawecki to third, and his throw to first is in plenty of time.
And to think about how, when you're not used to that sort of thing, he's got it on the back of his arm. He's got that monitor in his back pocket, and you're able to adjust and play and not even think about it being there anymore.
Yeah, Ron Santo, our dear friend, who used to broadcast the Cubs and played for them on his way to a Hall of Fame career, was also diagnosed at 16 years old with diabetes, and he tried to keep it a secret. Back then, that was in many ways a disqualifying thing for an athlete, as Reyes has a base hit. Markakis can't cut it off. That's going to ricochet off the fence. And Reyes will stand at second with a 1-out double.
You're right. In those days, that was a disqualifier. It was nobody would touch you. Boy, is he throwing some top hand on the baseball right now. 2 homers yesterday. It's a slider down and in, and hooks that one past Freddie. Freddie robbed him of an extra base hit his first time up.
And maybe the Mets have figured out the secret to unlock Reyes this season. Have him pitch more.
Yeah.
Here's Vargas. He bounced out his first time up. Runner at second with 1 out. Excuse me. Vargas will be taken down. It's Luis Guillorme. We've seen him a couple times against the Braves. So Vargas done after 5 innings. A first inning run and 3 runs in the third. He struck out 7 men.
At a season high.
Mike would love a strikeout here, but he's got a tough man to try to accomplish that against. Guillorme hasn't struck out in 48 at bats. That dates to May 28th, the longest active streak of not striking out in the majors. He had some good at bats against the Braves down in Atlanta. He's got 4 hits this season against Braves pitching.
Yeah, I remember those.
But Mike's got him set up. Let's see if he can end that streak. 4 strikeouts. Mike's got them on fastballs, sliders, and Frazier on a changeup. Way high. It's 2-2. Second stint for Guillorme with the Mets. He was called back up on July 28th. He was here May 9th through June 26th. Hit .301 at AAA.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's a good stretch of at bats where he hasn't struck out. But if you say he hasn't struck out since
48 plate appearances.
April 20th. Well, part of that's because he hadn't been here.
Well,
48's a good number, but
yeah. That dates back to April 5th.
April 5th, 1964.
Hey, man, but in this day and age of the 3 outcome at bats, 48's pretty impressive. Without a strikeout. And it's 2-2. Talking with a lot of Mets people before the game about what's gone right, what's gone wrong for them. One of the recurring themes that we've heard, Joe, is a need for the Mets to overhaul and restructure their player development system. They just have not had a lot of luck in recent years getting a number of position players to the major leagues. Yes, they've had Conforto and Nimmo, but there isn't a whole lot of depth apparently in the minor leagues to help them through what's going to be, many think, a difficult rebuilding period. The Mets made the move by not making a move at the deadline. They kept Matz and Wheeler and DeGrom and Syndergaard, and they feel if those 4 guys are healthy, they can be back and competitive sooner rather than later in the East. As this one's hammered toward left, Duvall cuts it off. They're going to wave Reyes around, and Guillorme, a tough out, fouled off a couple of pitches and is rewarded with an RBI single.
That was a tremendous big league at bat. It's a pat from Freddie Freeman. Laid off a good slider down and in, got a fastball up and away and served it.
So it's a 4-2 game, tying run to the plate, Nimmo, and he has already homered tonight. So here's Nimmo, and he takes a strike. It's 0-1. Season high 93 pitches for Vargas, 7 strikeouts in his 5 innings. He's hoping the Mets can come back and bail him out. Right now he's on the line for his 7th loss.
When you're talking about the Mets trying to get back into it, you know, get their organization squared away, be more competitive. This is, you know, one of the crown jewels in the National League. When you've got a National League team in New York, you expect them to be good every year. That's not going to be the case, of course, but it shouldn't take that long. You certainly don't want to see the New York Mets be a, I don't want to use the word tank, but, you know, strip down everything and start over. With the pitchers they have and kept, DeGrom and Syndergaard in particular, build around that.
Double play ball. There's one, and the turn in time. That's what Mike needed. Gave up the RBI hit to Guillorme, but Nimmo's doubled up, and Mike preserves the lead as we go to the 6th. At least tonight's game was supposed to be Chris Sale pitching, but he's on the disabled list. For the Red Sox, Paul Sewald is on for the 30th time. The Braves have seen him a lot, Joe, and they've enjoyed what they've seen so far in 2018.
Yeah, they have, but he's recording a strikeout per inning pitched, Fastball sits in the low 90s with a slider and a changeup, but 0-4 so far on the year.
I don't think he's won a major league game for his career. He's not. He's 0-10 to start as a big league pitcher. Out of the University of San Diego, was a teammate of Chris Bryant while with the Toreros. Mets got him in the 10th round in the 2012 draft. And a sharply hit ball to Frazier. He's got it from one former Red to another. There's, I'll take it back. That was Tyler Flowers. My mistake. From one former White Sox to another. There's the first out of the 6th inning. Here's Swanson. Mets bullpen's had its share of problems. Last 59 games, a 6.21 relief ERA. 6.21, 59 games.
I guess Jose Reyes' numbers go on the bullpen list, huh?
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Well, in 8 1/3 innings in relief this month, they've only given up 18 earned runs. It's August 2nd.
Owie.
Dansby's 0 for 2, a swing and a miss.
Sewell's got a funky delivery in that he really throws across his body. Steps a little toward the third base line. And then tries to crossfire you with that slider.
Different look in the Mets bullpen. Juris Familia traded to Oakland. As the 1-2 pitch is on the way and popped out of play. You hear mixed reviews for the return the Mets got in that trade with Oakland. Bobby Wall was one of the players that New York got in that trade from Oakland, and Wall was called up today. He had 12 saves in the minor leagues for the Athletics. As the 1-2 pitch is bounced back to the mound. Sewald's got that. The flip to first is out number 2. The Cover Your Bases campaign is a partnership between the Braves and the American Cancer Society that helps educate fans about the importance of sun safety. Did you know there are 10 sunscreen stations located throughout SunTrust Park to help keep you covered? To locate them and to make a donation, visit braves.com/coveryourbases.
You know, that's a great thing, having those stations around SunTrust Park. And you know, this is the 2nd year of the ballpark, but you keep finding out new stuff about it all the time. I mean, stuff that's been there. Maybe I should have already known about it, but they didn't miss much. They didn't leave anything out.
Pitch number 10 missed to Mike. We'll have the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for New York in the 6th inning. He leads by 2. 4-2 your score. Miami has struck first in Philly. They lead 2-0. That game's in the 5th. And a little roller hit toward Frazier at third. Mike was shocked he made contact.
He was shocked that it stayed fair. Like, I don't know.
second, head for third. Here comes the throw. He's in there safely, and Albert Hall has hit for the cycle.
Then, of course, the legendary voice of our dear friend, the great Pete Van Wieren, who passed away 4 years ago today. Member of the Braves Hall of Fame, inducted in 2004. Those of us who are lucky enough to work with the Atlanta Braves and sit behind these microphones stand on the shoulders of giants. And there was no giant larger in the broadcasting industry and in Braves history than the Professor Pete Van Wieren. And it would be so wrong of us not to remember Pete and his lovely wife Elaine, John and Steve and their entire family on this anniversary. We think about the Professor every single day.
Every day. I'm not kidding you. I've still got his phone number in my cell phone. I've got your dad's, and I don't. It's weird how there are many times I start to call him, and because of Pete and his history, his knowledge of the history of the game. You know, if something quirky comes up, you know, with respect to a record or whatever, that's the first person I think of, and I need to call Pete and tell him. I still do that.
Jose Bautista, the batter. Now, we could spend the rest of this game talking about our memories of Pete, but he was called the Professor for a reason. There was nobody more prepared with that historical note that you talked about. A quirky story. As Bautista is going to get another swing. I mean, we talked about the Jose Reyes oddity, Cap Anson, and his give up 2 homers, hit 2 the next day. Pete would have been all over that on his Diamond Notes segment.
Well, we just showed a picture of it right after, or right at the end of that call of Albert Hall's hitting for the cycle. He's got his arm propped up on a stack of books. They weren't there to hold his arm up. I mean, he would go to 1 or 2 of those a night as a reference for something that came along during the game.
And this was before computers, iPads, cell phones, Google search engines and the like. He knew where to go to get what he wanted, and he had the uncanny ability, Joe, to capture a moment in a way that I think Bob Costas talked about. Baseball is the symphony, but the announcer is the conductor.
Now that wasn't there for show. Those were all baseball reference books. Might be statistical, might be stories. And we miss him every day. 4 years ago today, we lost him. You know, the construction of the Superstation when the Braves went on TBS. I mean, he is one of the cornerstones, along with your dad and Ernie, that made that work.
No doubt. No doubt about it. So what a wonderful legacy Pete Van Wieren has left all of us covering Braves baseball. The broadcast booth at Turner Field was named after him on the radio side. Hope that continues over at SunTrust Park. If it hasn't already, it should. And I know Jim Powell, who is forging his own way, beginning his great legacy, is a great admirer of Pete, as is Jim's partner at home, Don Sutton, who I think summed up Pete's career exceptionally well. 3 balls and a strike. First to Michael Conforto. And ball 4 brings the potential tying run to the plate in Flores. Don always said of Pete that Pete Van Wieren never cared about being famous. All he cared about was being good. And he was more than good. He was great. Yeah. So, Elaine, we love you. We're thinking about you tonight. And we're thinking about you, John and Steve, and the rest of your family as we remember the Professor, Pete Van Wieren, who passed away so sadly 4 years ago tonight.
First walk of the game for Fulte. I was talking about Vargas earlier, working up a lather early tonight. I mean, every player we show, they've got bare arms. Everybody's sweating profusely. So you wonder if might be running a little low on Petro here on his 87th pitch.
There's a break. Flores didn't mean to, but it's now 0-2. You get the ball on the ground against this guy. The one weakness Flores has, he is a very slow base runner.
Yeah.
Shane Carl begins to loosen up. Flores has hit into 4 double plays. Line into left center field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Acuna has it hit off the heel of his glove. Flores is going to try for 2. The throw there. He's safe. He got in. Ozzie says take a look. For the moment, they're at second and third with 1 out. We'll see how that scored. The ball popped off of Acuna's glove. That might be a hit and an error. Let's see.
Boy, is this guy's head still and everything working well together. Look how straight up and down he is. But he just stays back. Watch his hands work here. No stride. Head never moved. And the ball jumps off his bat. Ronald tried to cut it off and did, but couldn't come up with it cleanly. And the Braves are going to have a look at this. Ozzie's tag. Hard to see there if he got his foot or not.
So it depends on the angle. It depends on the call, and the play is at second base, which makes you cower in fear if you're a Braves fan. So the call was safe by Gary Cederstrom. There has to be enough evidence to overturn. There's the catch. The ball beat him, and it looks like he got him on the shoe.
Well, it kind of bounced on the bag and then onto the shoe. They might overturn that.
I think he got him on the heel.
Yeah.
And if that's an out, that's a big out. It would be the second out of the inning. Yeah, he's going to be out. At least he should be. They just showed a real close-up view of the foot bouncing up in the air and the glove hitting his heel before he got to the bag. But the longer this takes, the more fearful I become that the call's going to stand. Verdict is in. He is going to be out. They got it right.
Wow. Well, that's 1 for Atlanta this year at second base. That is a huge call. You're right. It had to be an accurate throw, number 1, and then good job by Ozzie to get the glove over there.
That's going to be a single. It's an 8-4 put out at second. I'm assuming they charged an error allowing the runner to get to third.
I think he was going first to third anyway.
Right.
Yeah, he never hesitated.
Yep, so they had 2 errors on the board for a moment. They took that away now. So here's Frazier with 2 outs. And he pops the next one up right at Ozzie. And that's going to take care of New York. A big call at second base, just the way the professor would draw it up. Mets fans are booing. 4-2 Atlanta. Pete Van Wieren, that inning was for you. 4-2 from Citi Field in New York. Atlanta looking to add to a 4-2 lead. Big night for Ronald Acuna. He's reached all 3 times he's come to the plate. A triple, a single, a walk, a steal, and 2 runs. That's a very good night.
Having fun too.
Nationals lead the Reds 7-2 in the 5th. Miami leads the Phillies 2-0 in the 6th inning. If these scores hold, Atlanta would take over first place again. The pitch is pumped towards second and caught by McNeil. He's got it, and Sewald's retired 4 in a row to start his night. 2 hits for Ozzie tonight, and he will not face Sewald as Mickey Callaway, the first-year manager for the Mets, is on his way out. Good job by Sewald. 4 batters up, 4 batters down. Callaway will take the ball as the Braves maintain a 4-2 lead.
The All South Highway Safety Team reminds you to play it safe by never mixing drinking and driving.
(4-2), 1 out, bases empty here in New York. Shake Shack doing big business on a hot night. You can understand that as Jerry Blevins is on to pitch. Albies, Freeman, and Markakis, the trio, do for the Braves.
Left-handers wearing him out. Right-handers are not. Now that's a weird reverse split for a left-handed pitcher. Low 80s, high 80s, low 90s fastball and a curveball. A lot of curveballs, and he'll try to drop it down and into Ozzie.
The guy that kills Blevins is the man on deck, Freddie Freeman. I'll tell you about his numbers when he comes up, as that one's banged foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. 4-2 game. We're in the 7th. Braves try to win their 32nd game within the Eastern Division. Braves right now 31-16 against the East. 9 of those wins have come against the Mets. And that one's into center, and Nimmo, a nice diving grab. That robs Albies of a 3rd hit. And if he doesn't get it, that might have gone to the wall, and it might have gotten very interesting.
That's right. That's why this is a high risk, high reward type play. But he measured it perfectly. Nice catch.
So here's Freddie Freeman. He's 12 for 23, a .522 average against Blevins with 4 doubles and a homer. fouled away. Stick around for the stretch presented by Synovus. Here, Rebecca will take us through a Eastern Division recap on this August 2nd, 2018. Just past 9 o'clock in New York. The pitch from Blevins is inside.
Blevins needed that pitch to get ahead and make Freddie chase something off the plate.
Lifted toward left, but right at Conforto, and Blevins gets Albies and Freeman and sends us to the stretch with Atlanta up 4-2 in game 1. He'll turn things over to Jesse Biddle, who will try to work his way through the bottom of the Mets order and protect Joe a 4-2 lead.
Jesse's been doing some great work, as we say, every time he comes in. Has not allowed a run in his last 3 outings. Let's see, 4 outings altogether since the All-Star break. Only one of those where he gave up some runs. Last outing was on the 30th against Miami. 1 inning of perfect relief work.
McNeil, Plawecki, and Reyes, the trio up for New York. Then the pitcher's spot as Jesse's first misses upstairs and the home 7th is underway.
Take a look at the bat of Mr. McNeil. It's a little different looking. No knob. Just flares out at the bottom. There it is. A good look at it. There used to be one years ago. It was a U1 Ted Eulander U1 model, and was not so rare in those days.
1 ball, 1 strike from Jesse, and that's too high. Ball 2. Well, stickball in New York is a very popular game, or at least it was. I'll bet there are a lot of broom handles shaped just like that. Here in Queens and the other boroughs. As the 2-1 is on the way, and it's squibbed toward Camargo. Funky spin, but he makes the play and flips to first. And Biddle gets his first man, 1 out. Jesse's been excellent since May 19th, a 2.17 ERA. Just 17 hits in 100 at bats by the opposition in that stretch. What a find he has been for a Braves bullpen that shaved a run and 14 hundredths off his ERA from June last month. So here's Plawecki. He struck out and grounded out. The Mets catcher digs in and takes a strike. Different looking Braves bullpen, as you know. Brad Brock, Johnny Venters, two of the acquisitions before the deadline for the Braves. Kevin Gausman, starting pitcher, will go here on Saturday. You've seen Adam Duvall start in left tonight. And Duvall's coming up in the 8th. Pitch.
Something else about Jesse is how he changed his delivery midstream, middle of the summer. Instead of that slide and glide step, he went into a full leg kick and said he just did it in the bullpen and it felt good.
1-1 pitch. What you love about Biddle is obviously the results of late, but as you alluded, he can pitch more than one inning for you. A real rubber-armed guy. And maybe that'll be his assignment tonight. He's got the first out in his 7th. And he's ahead of Plawecki. The pitch is into center. Acuna is there. 2 outs.
Visit your nearest Advance Auto Parts store to get the quality parts you want from people that know a lot about them.
Well, here's Jose Reyes. Somebody wake this guy up. He has been stinging the ball the last couple of games for the Mets. Freddie Freeman took away a double in the 2nd inning. Reyes picked up a double and scored a run in the 5th. Good selection there, has him behind. 0-1.
Still only hitting a .195 though. I don't think he's been over 200 all year. 220 right-handed though. 181 left-handed.
Jose Reyes, Joe, started the year 0 for 20 at the plate, you might recall. He picked up his first 3 hits of the season on April 21st in Atlanta. In a game won by Jesse Biddle 4-3, when the Braves got 2 runs in the 9th inning to come back against Familia. And that's bang foul.
Oh, was that night that was it Ender put the bunt down?
That was the night that Ender put the bunt down and scored Camargo with the game-winning run. Two strikes for Reyes, batting right-handed.
That was a great finish to that game. A lot of fun.
And remember, the Mets had come to town 14-5. And we're in first place.
Little did they know what was about to happen.
Man. Swing and a miss. How about that inning from Jesse Biddle? 3 up, 3 down. We go to the 8th. Getting it done again. Acuna, Albies, and Freeman, the spark plugs tonight.
It took about a minute and a half for the Braves to take a 1-0 lead in the first inning on the triple and single. But a big 3-run third inning for the Braves has highlighted the night and put them on top by a score of 4-2 with 2 innings to go. Good offense, 6 hits, some extra base hits, and a good night for Acuna, the big key.
So in the Atlanta 8th, Nick Markakis, Adam Duvall, and Johan Camargo are coming up. That's bullpen is busy. I'm guessing Blevins will face Markakis, and then Mickey Callaway will think about a right-hander for Duvall. We'll see how it plays out as the Braves enjoy a 4-2 lead, and a strike from Blevins. Slashed out of play. It's 0-2.
Despite their recent difficulties and it being a midweek game, pretty good crowd here tonight. Like you said, it's a huge ballpark, so sometimes you get fooled by how many people are actually here.
Light rain has begun to fall as the humidity is finally broken and chases a lot of the fans from the lower bowl up toward the concourse. We've got a long walk.
Cats are averaging just under 30,000 per day.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Look out. It's whistled over the Braves dugout and off the netting. Nick hanging tough.
You call this rain?
I was just about to say, compared to what the arc builders in Atlanta had to deal with the last couple of days, this is a light spritzing. Strike 3. Markakis took one at the bottom of the zone, and Blevins strikes him out.
That was kind of fun. Nick knew that before Stu Surewater did.
Yeah. So a good inning for Blevins. He faced 3, retired 3 with a strikeout. And the Mets manager will go bring on a right-hander to face Adam Duvall in a 4-2 Atlanta game. In 1987, on a day where the temperatures exceeded 102 degrees, Kevin Seitzer had a sizzling day at the plate. He went 6 for 6 and drove in 7 runs. Kevin was a Royals rookie third baseman. He had a couple of homers, and the Royals won 13-5 over the Red Sox on the turf at Royals Stadium.
Yeah, I can promise you it's closer to 120 on that turf. Kevin could hit. Won a batting title. He could really hit.
And he's enjoyed his offense's work tonight. 4 runs on 6 hits. As the Braves will now look at Bobby Wall, the man acquired for Juris Familia from Oakland. This is not Wall's big league debut. He pitched in 7 games with Oakland last year. This year, between Vegas and Nashville in the Pacific Coast League, a 2.20 ERA, 73 strikeouts in 45 innings.
Wow. Very impressive. Upper 90s fastball, curveball, slider.
And 98 up there, tough to catch up to. And Anderson couldn't. He's over 2 with a walk and a run scored so far.
You know, one of the wonderful things about modern technology now, you saw Kevin Seitzer and Tyler Flowers looking at video in the dugout of Wall to get a look for how he pitches. Right over the top and gas. Be a pretty good indication.
98, 97 on successive pitches. Now the 1-2 pitch. If I'm a hitter, Joe, I don't know if I'm liking a guy throwing 98 and wearing glasses.
In the rain.
Yeah. It's coming down pretty hard.
I'd mentioned Ryan Duran, but not too many people out there would have any idea what I was talking about.
The 2-2 pitch. This ought to be fun. Who's going to catch this? Frazier says he's got it, and he did make the play. 2 outs. And Camargo will turn around and try to add to his 2 RBI night. Johan up to 48 runs batted in. Tonight's Johan's 83rd game. So let's just double his numbers. Full season, roughly. A lot of folks talking about the Braves need to upgrade or make a deal at third base. You double Johan's power numbers. He'd have 28 doubles, 2 triples, 24 homers, 92 runs batted in, and would score 76 runs. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, sir. None of his defense.
I was going to say, that's the part that nobody talks about. No balls, 2 strikes. I mean, he's played so well defensively, you're almost shocked when a ball gets by him over at third. And even when he has to dive or cover a lot of ground, he's got such a strong arm that makes up for the extra time it might take him to get to the baseball. But he's down on strikes, and Wall has a successful night. He strikes out a man in his 2/3 of an inning stint. Grammy Award winners will be back at SunTrust Saturday, August 18th to make up their post-game concert after the Braves take on the Rockies. That concert's presented by SunTrust. Get your game tickets and field passes. Go to Braves.com. Enter Inciarte is going to check into center field and bat ninth for Atlanta. Ronald Acuna shifts over to left. And now Brad Brock is on to face Jackson, Nimmo, and Bautista in the 8th inning with the Braves up by a pair.
This will be his second appearance in a Braves uniform. He first made an outing against Miami 3 days ago. 1 full inning, gave up a hit, but zeros across otherwise. Love this guy and his different arm angle.
And Jackson takes downstairs, ball 1. Jackson hit a homer on July 31st against Washington, his first homer since September of 17 with Cleveland. They got him July 27th. Jackson was with the Giants, was traded to Texas, released by Texas July 14th, and now here he is in New York. And he's a little late at 95 miles an hour. Jackson hit .318 with the Indians last year, scored 46 runs in 85 games. But things didn't work out with the Giants. And now he's a Met. And he didn't chase. It's 2-2. Robert Gesellman is up in the Mets bullpen. Looks like he'll come on and pitch the 9th inning. 9-1-2 for New York. Rain is all but stopped. The pitch fouled straight back. Good cut.
Real quick, fast delivery out of the stretch for Brock, and then a lot of heat. 96. Good time here for his slider or breaking ball.
Line drive into right center field. That'll get down for a base hit. So the Mets will bring the tying run to the plate. It's Brandon Nimmo, and he homered to start the night for New York. It's our StatCast AI powered by AWS.
Yeah, jumped out of here. Short, quick swing, no stride. Jumped on a fastball from Fulte. Dropped it on the net right out there in straightaway right field, 378 feet.
A pop out and a double play also for Nimmo tonight. The latter would come in handy here. As he swung at one off the plate, he's down a strike.
Yeah, I was going to say that about Fulte, is that he had some base runners tonight, but able to pitch around some trouble. Got that double play in the 5th inning that was huge. Got the call at second base on the base hit by Flores in the 6th that was huge. All the while not striking out a ton. He did fan 5.
0-1. I thought he really pitched under control tonight, if that's a fair way of putting it.
Yeah, he only walked 1.
And on the mound, just confident. He's in line for his 8th win if Atlanta can protect a 2-run lead. They've got to get 6 more outs on the road. A ball and a strike. And that's around the plate. 2-1. Miami leads the Phillies 2-1, bottom 7. Nationals 7-2 over the Reds in the 6th. Oh, what a pitch.
There's the breaker.
Nimmo went to a knee as he missed that one. And it's 2-2.
Might have been just a straight changeup, but just the 10-mile-an-hour difference on the off speed was really a good pitch.
popped him up. Dansby drifts out. Ender comes streaking in to help out if needed. And Ender calls him off. And there's the first out of the inning. So Brock gets Nimmo. Now it's Bautista. And these guys have gotten together before. In fact, of all the Mets, Bautista's seen them the most. That stands to reason from their AL Eastern days. Bautista 2 for 14 in his career against Brad. One of those hits a homer.
Yeah, he's a little scary here in this situation. Chance to tie it up.
And a strike. Bautista's flied out and struck out twice. Runner at first goes. The pitch a strike. The throw to second is high. And Jackson has a steal. That takes the Mets out of a double play. But now the count 0-2.
Nice job by Tyler to make sure he caught the strike and not come out of there too quick, maybe get in the way of the home plate umpire. Wanted a high pitch delivered there, and he got it. Spoiled by Bautista.
No balls, 2 strikes. 1 on, 1 out. Mean to, and it's out of play.
That was a really good pitch in a good spot. Probably a called third strike, and Jose able to foul tip it. Down and away. Maybe upset that he fouled it off, but he better be happy that he did.
The Braves go there again, 1-2. Let's find out. Now it's even. Conforto is next. Again, he's been the hottest Met. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Good at bat. Falling behind this guy with his stuff and being able to lay off some borderline pitches.
Bautista doesn't have a high batting average, but his on base is pretty good because he'll walk. He's walked 43 times. He's gotten it full. 3-2. Jackson at second, 1 out. And another foul ball.
Well, he has seen just about everything Brock throws. And as you mentioned, several at-bats in his career against him. You would think after this many pitches, the advantage shifts to Bautista.
This is the 9th pitch. And he struck him out looking. 97. Down and away. A perfect pitcher's pitch and a big second out.
Huge. Perfect. Caught him looking for another slider.
So Bautista has the hat trick. 3 strikeouts, and Conforto the batter with 2 down. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. But Conforto, 14 homers. You have to respect his power too. The pitch, a bender in and a beauty.
This is where you might see a sign or instructions from the dugout to the infielders to alert the outfielders. Base hit, throw the ball to second base. Prevent the potential tying run from getting into scoring position. Don't worry about the base runner.
But one more swing like that and it'll be academic.
Good changeup again.
No balls, 2 strikes. The 0-2 pitch.
I like this visit. I don't know if they're talking about changing the signs or if they're talking about how to put Conforto away, but it also gives Brock a little bit of a breather.
And certainly unfamiliarity between Flowers and Brock.
Good trip.
Brad's learning on the fly, as is his catcher, Tyler Flowers. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitch. Fouled away. $24,000 plus in New York. Await the pitch, and it's high. 2-2.
Brock has gotten ahead of these guys with the runner at second base, so he's able to use what he wants to try to put him away. He hasn't fallen behind where he's got to throw a fastball right there.
Swing and a miss. Brock strikes out 2 of the 4 hitters he faced in the 8th. And we head to the 9th, leading 4-2 in Game 1 in New York.
10th win just of the season already over the Mets, and we're going to bring you Game 2 tomorrow night. Our coverage starting at 6:30. It's the Friday Night Showdown presented to you by Kaiser Permanente. That's on Fox Sports South, and it'll be Anibal Sanchez taking on Jacob deGrom. A couple of different styles going head-to-head tomorrow, but Anibal Sanchez 2-0 with a 2.84 ERA with 16 strikeouts in his last 2 road starts, guys. He'll look to keep that going tomorrow.
Yeah, tough order for the Braves tomorrow night, but let's worry about tomorrow and finish off Game 1. In the win column, Austin Jackson's in center. Nimmo moves from center to right. Batista's out of the game. And shaggy-haired Robert Gesellman is on to pitch in his 48th game. He's 6-2 on the season. He'll start the 9th with Tyler Flowers. Braves up 4-2.
He's had some good outings against the Braves too. Gesellman has picked up a win in extra innings against the Braves in Atlanta this year when I think he drew a leadoff walk, hitting for himself.
A chopper toward Frazier at third, and his throw to first a sinker, but Flores stretches out to make the play. 1 out.
Selman, a starter by trade, but used in the bullpen and a valuable asset if he needs to go more than just 1 inning. Mid-90s fastball with a cutter, curve, change, and slider. He's got it all.
Dansby 0 for 3. Ender to follow. In the New York 9th, Flores, Frazier, and McNeil, the first 3 scheduled. A.J. Minter was playing catch a moment ago. One would presume he'll come on and try to earn the save. Phillies are still losing 2-1, bottom of the 8th inning now in Philadelphia.
I liked Marty Reed's comments before the game talking to Kelsey about bullpen activity down the stretch. It's such a key component to keep everybody fresh, not throw too much. You know, if you're playing catches, he said, you know, limit how hard you play catch. That was all good info.
And for so many of these guys, as Marty said, this is truly uncharted territory for him. That moved him off the plate a bit. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Milwaukee and the Dodgers are underway. That one's tied 1 apiece in the second. Brewers trying to win that series out in Los Angeles. Chacin and Kershaw. Brian Dozier, by the way, had a homer, 3 hits in his debut with the Dodgers yesterday. Rich get richer.
I don't know that anybody was surprised by that.
The other big game is the Giants are in Arizona. How about this matchup? Bumgarner and Greinke. Bad news for Arizona. Jake Lamb tore up his shoulder again. Season-ending surgery for him. The pitch is fouled away. 2-2.
And I saw where they put Shelby Miller back on the disabled list, or extended it to the 60 days. So his recovery and bounce back from elbow surgery must not have gone as well as they hoped, and trying to protect him. That's disappointing.
And the Braves still have a series left with both Arizona and San Francisco. In fact, we'll see both those clubs on our last Western road trip that comes in September. I believe it is. Yep, September 6th through the 12th. The 2-2 from Gesellman is up and away, full count. Cardinals beat Colorado 3-2 in St. Louis today. Cubs lead San Diego 1-0 in the 6th at Wrigley Field. Oh, that's hammered, just foul.
Oh, boy, what a good swing.
He can turn on that pitch as well as anybody in the league.
No doubt. Question is, on a 3-2 count, will Gesellman and Plawecki choose to go in there again?
We're about to find out. Strike 3, bottom of the zone. That's been called a strike all night by Stu Schurwater. He's been very consistent. A pitcher's pitch takes care of Dansby for the second out.
It looked like on pitch tracks that it did catch the zone. That's a tough break for Dansby.
So the first at bat for Ender Inciarte tonight. Ender hitting .412 over his last 10 games. And with the acquisition of Adam Duvall, for now it's going to be a platoon situation with Acuna playing center, Duvall in left against left-handed pitchers. And Ender has taken that in stride. And I love what he said to you and what he said to Brian Snitker and Alex Anthopoulos. All I want to do is go to the playoffs.
Yep.
That's what it takes. That's what he's willing to do.
That's putting the team first. Off to a great start in post All-Star break.
And that is going to be strike 3. How about this? The Braves don't have a base runner since the 4th inning. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16 straight retired, but Atlanta leads by 2. Most notably the Chipper Jones pregame ceremony honoring him for his induction into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. Go to Braves.com and get all your details. So it's all there for AJ Minter. He's got 3 outs to get for the Braves to secure a 4-2 victory tonight. And he's got the middle of the order coming up for New York.
Boy, has he been good. He is 11 for 11 in holds before he moved into the closer spot. He's 6 for 6 in saves. He's not blown a lead all year long. That's good work.
Wilmer Flores has 2 of the Mets' 6 hits tonight. 2 singles. And as you said, he can hit a fastball. Took that one though at 98 upstairs, ball 1. Flores, Frazier, McNeil, the first 3 for the Mets. He's gone 3-0 to the Mets leadoff man.
And he's only walked 1 batter in his last 10 outings. Not a good thing to walk the first guy in the 9th.
Speaking of the 9th, that's where they are in Philadelphia. Miami 2, Phillies 1. If that score holds and this score holds, the Braves will be back in first place. almost hit him. And it is a leadoff walk. Minter very wild to Flores. Now Frazier's coming up. Frazier, just back from the disabled list, has hit into 9 double plays. That's tied for most on the Mets club. Flores very slow, leads at first. The pitch. Got it called a strike. Frazier thought it was low. You might recall the last time the Braves were here in New York, Frazier complained about a strike 3 call and almost got thrown out of the game. Nothing in 1. That's a little more like it. It's 0-2.
Obviously, a strikeout would be nice, but behind in the count, trying to get Frazier to chase a bad ball and hit a ground ball, maybe even a comebacker, would be really nice.
Minter looks at Flores. The 0-2 pitch to Frazier.
Frazier really cut down on his swing there. Just trying to make sure he had the outer third covered, and he did.
No balls, 2 strikes.
Biddle was throwing 95 after Fultonevich's 97-98. Brock was throwing 96-97. Minter's 97.
He's missing high, he's missing low, in, out.
You know, showed him in the bullpen. He threw a pitch and he really gave a grimace like he was mad at himself, like he wasn't able to put the ball where he wanted. So far tonight, his cutter has not been there for him.
Big pitch, 2 balls, 2 strikes. And it's hammered down the left field line, and it's foul. That was close.
Way foul.
And Frazier wants to wipe off the bat. He tossed it into the grass after his bid for an extra base hit was pulled foul. So Minter goes back to work, 2-2. So after a near double, how about a double play? Two balls, 2 strikes.
You might remember his last time up was against Fultonevich, and he hooked one so hard foul down over the top of the Braves dugout and up to the second deck. He's quick inside, even coming back from that rib cage injury, and they're trying to get him, as evidence there, with a kind of a one-handed swing, to get him to go after something and roll over it middle away.
Swing and a miss. Took a little off, and Frazier is out number 1.
You know what? AJ didn't throw that pitch very much. It was a change of pace, but it was like his cutter. Well, he's got like a change-up grip there. He doesn't throw that pitch. It's been mostly fastball cutter. Good call by Tyler Flowers to have him break that out.
Something else for these Mets hitters to think about. As Frazier was all over the cutter and fastball, couldn't catch up to the change, and he's out number 1. Now McNeil bats. Lefty, lefty. And it's outside, ball 1. As Joe mentioned, McNeil hit 19 homers in the minor leagues this year. He's hit 1 with the Mets. Fouled away. It's an even count. A ball and a strike. Lifted toward left center. Ender on the run to the track. He's there. He's got it. The spikes were gleaming as he picked him up and put him down, and there's the second out.
They certainly were. Good jump.
McNeil hit it hard, but a Gold Glover tracked it down, and the Braves are an out away from a series and road trip opening win. Here's Plawecki, the Mets catcher, 0 for 3. Phillies are up in the 9th, down 2-1. Here it's 4-2 Braves. Mets down to their last out. Huge lead by Flores. He takes off, and it's bang foul past third, strike 1.
If he does that again, you mentioned Flores is not that fast. Freddie's not playing that deep. If he goes that far off the bag again, AJ might be able to just step off and throw it to Freddie, and Freddie can run him down.
Freddie's inching. He's inching toward the first base bag. Now backs off. Runner goes. Bang foul again. 0-2. Braves are a strike away. I mean, somebody's saying something to Freddie because he's sort of playing along with that Mets dugout, sort of taking baby steps toward the first base bag.
Well, it's 0-2 now to Plawecki. Concentrate on him. Finish it off.
Minter ready, and his 0-2 pitch. Here it comes. Oh, what a cut. And we'll do it again. Anibal Sanchez, Jacob deGrom here tomorrow night in Game 2. Fultonevich and Vargas, the pitchers of record. Minter trying to pick up the save. Needs one more strike. Flores takes second unopposed. No stolen base. That takes away a forced play on a ground ball. And the count now 1-2. 10 o'clock on the button here in New York. AJ's got one he likes. And here we go. Strike 3. That's your ball game. Minter picks up the save with his second strikeout of the inning. And the Braves have beaten the Mets for the 10th time this year, thanks to Acuna, Albies, and Freeman at the top of the order. Fultonevich, Biddle, Brock, and Minter from the mound. 2 hours and 49 minutes. And the Braves have a share of first once again in the East, pending the outcome of the Miami and Philly game, which is 2-1 in the bottom of the ninth.
Good work early by the Braves offense. Outstanding work by the Braves bullpen.
So the Braves have beaten New York in game 1, 4-2 your final. Mike Fultonevich now 8-7. Vargas falls to 2-7, and Minter with save number 7. A lot of good stuff to talk about on Braves Live, presented by Xfinity. Joe will join me for that. We'll hear from Kelsey Wingert and the Braves in the clubhouse. Braves 4, Mets 2. That's your final. Stay tuned, friends. The postgame show's coming up.